This is the story of a trophy for the world, a journey, a dream.
Hello, viewers out there. It's a beautiful Monday evening, and you're welcome to Sports Orbit. Our coverage of the World Cup continues. My name is Afacho. Salifu Usman is right here with me. Salifu, welcome to our coverage of the World Cup on Sports Orbit.
Thank you, Rafa. It's always my pleasure to be back again.
Right, we'll begin straight from our first match of the day, where the Indomitable Lions of Cameroon staged a thrilling comeback to level scores 3-3 with Serbia in the first match of the game. The roller coaster Group G fixture leaves both sides on a single point from their two games, still just in contention for a last 16th place. Although Cameroon must face Brazil, their final match on Friday, while Serbia take on Switzerland. Interesting one for Indomitable Lions. Had to fight back, level scores at 3-3. Good fighting spirit they showed, good character. Well, we could say at least that puts them 1 point, having lost their first game, but so far 1 point for Cameroon, and it means going into their final game, it has to be a must-win encounter for the Cameroonians.
Yeah, the final match it will definitely be a must-win for Cameroon, and unfortunately, it's against the world number one, the best ranked team in the world. Well, today I'll describe today as an Africa Day. Because even currently Ghana has just also beat Korea. I think that's fantastic. Cameroon were down by 3-0, and for them to stay that a comeback, that's one of the incredible. It is an incredible comeback for Cameroon today, and I congratulate the team for putting a short, wonderful performance. Cameroon has no business losing their first match to Switzerland. If they had played the way they played today, they would have lost that match against Switzerland. And it's good that against the Serbia, they were down by 3-0. And Vincent Aboubakar today again proved that yes, he's a star. He's a star for coming off the bench to score the goal, and also providing another assist that led to Cameroon to stay that incredible comeback. It's a fantastic game for Cameroon today.
Yeah, I mean, in the first game, he also came off the bench, but couldn't do much. But yeah, exactly. But coming up against a strong side like Serbia, I must confess that the Cameroonians did well, because when you look at that game against Brazil, from what the Serbians played against Brazil, I really didn't think Cameroon stood a chance against them. But for them to have come back from 3 goals down really showed that they have some strength of character. They fought gallantly and even though as Africans would have loved them to have taken all 3 points, but still good to take away just 1 point. But they must ensure that in their final match, 3 points against Brazil.
I think the Serbians will have themselves to blame today, and it appears that the all about them against Africa's continue. They have never win any game. They have never win their competitive match against the African side at the World Cup. In 2006, they lost to 2006. 2006, they lost to Cote d'Ivoire, and at the same time, in 2010, they also lost 1-0 to Ghana. So today, when they thought they have their pounds of flesh on African team, and only for Cameroon to come back surprisingly in the second, come out in the second half to force them to a 3-3 draw. I think the Serbians will have the same problem. Now, both. Let us wait what Brazil and Switzerland are going to play today. If it happens that Brazil and Switzerland play a goalless draw, that would definitely put both Cameroon and Serbia their chance of progressing. I'll not say completely off, but that would definitely look like almost impossible.
Yeah, I mean, our colleague also Wale Ayeni has just joined out all the way from the UK. Wale, how are you doing today? Welcome to Sports Orbit.
Good afternoon, Alpha. Good afternoon, Salifu. I'm very fine. Good afternoon to everyone in the studio. That's been, an impressive performance from the African teams right there in Qatar, and as it is now, the fans and everybody, we are actually enjoying it.
Yeah, I mean, we're just talking briefly about that Cameroon comeback against Serbia. At a point, everybody had thought, for most Africans, that game it looked like another defeat for Cameroon. And if that were the case, Cameroon's World Cup would have been over. But somehow they are still in this one, 1 point to go. But their last match against Brazil, they must go all out to see if, to try and do the almost impossible against Brazil. If they must stand the chance of qualifying, yeah.
Yeah, I feel Cameroon have themselves to blame for that, particular draw. They should have actually, won that game if they have actually, played as a compact team and also, get to, score goals. But some of their players at the front line were selfish. They were not actually, passing to their teammate for them to score. But at this point in time, looking at Cameroon setup, going out of the goalkeeper, talking about Onana, I feel is one of the things that actually make Cameroon to actually lost their concentration in that particular against Serbia. But you could see them coming back. Aboubakar getting to inspire the team back for them to actually come back to draw that particular game. I think it's a very, very impressive one. Cameroon now will be praying for Brazil to defeat Switzerland. And for Switzerland to now play maybe a draw against Serbia, but that will not actually guarantee their own qualification. Also, they need to actually get to defeat Brazil for them to actually have any chance of them qualifying to the round of 16. But this is a World Cup; anything can happen. We didn't expect Saudi Arabia, Iran, getting to beat the likes of Wales and the likes of Argentina, Japan also defeating Germany. So anything can happen. There might just be a lifeline, but they need to actually end the crisis in the Cameroonian team at this point in time. We all know that the goalkeeper has been sent, packing from the Cameroon camp, and I feel it's going to affect, the team in one way or the other. Alpha.
Right, yeah, another African team, that match just ended, which our West African neighbors does. Ghana, who actually prevented Nigeria from being in the World Cup, looks like they are giving a good account of themselves as they just won South Korea 3-2 at the point. It was 2-0, but South Korea came back from 2 goals down, and it was looking like so it was going to happen, but somehow the Ghanaians withstood that and went ahead and ended that one 3-2. So it's 3 points for the Ghanaians.
Yes, congratulations to the Black Stars of Ghana's good performance. Just like you say, it almost looked like the same fate that befell on the Serbia almost done on the Ghana when they were losing 2-0, only for them to allow the Korean to come back, force the game into the draw. But luckily, fortunately for the Ghanaians, they were able to restore their lead in the 68th minute, and which were able to hold on to and to end the match 3-2. And that has given them 3 points now, waiting for their last match against Uruguay, which they have a score to central with.
Yeah, I mean, completely, Wale. Looking at Ghana Black Stars, at a point, looks like they were caught napping because those goals came in the space of 3 minutes, and it looked like South Korea, briefly they came back into the game, but Ghana had to, stand their ground and increase the tally and, taking all 3 points home. But I think African teams are beginning to get fond of this, taking the lead and letting the lead slip. And for Ghana, I recall what even happened to them against Portugal when it seemed like at a point they shouldn't have ended that game in a draw, but somehow lost concentration, got carried away, and it was 3-2. Today, again, I think for a brief moment, they lost concentration, and South Korea almost got back in the game, but somehow Ghana escaped with a 3-2 victory.
For me, I would say Ghana actually started the resurgence. Even that game against Portugal. I actually know they were supposed to win that particular match, but the referee made some bad call in a particular one. The penalty for Ronaldo was not a penalty; it was a dubious penalty. An offside goal was also scored by one of their strikers. So, but for this particular game, the Ghanaians were very impressive, no doubt about that. We should give them, that kudos. They were actually tried, especially their front line. Kudos also who plays for the Belgium league actually tried actually get to score. Then looking at the Ayew brothers also doing magic in the middle of the park for the Black Stars of Ghana. I feel they should actually keep this team together. They should actually get to boost the confidence of the team going to play Uruguay. As Salifo has said, they have a scores to settle at this point in time, but it will be like them praying maybe for Portugal to win this particular match so that it will actually if Portugal gets to win this match, it means that Uruguay will come all in mass when they play against Ghana in the last group game on Thursday, on Friday, I mean. But at this point in time, Ghana should just actually get to stick together, play together. The coaches should fill in good players, not looking at the politics side of the game. They should ensure that they get to win, because I see the likes of Ghana, Morocco, getting to progress to the next round of 16 than any of the other African countries, Alpha.
Colorful, like you talked about scores to settle. One thing I always know in football, most times when a team is going to say and going to confront a team maybe who they've had some grudge match before, and you say we are going for revenge, a lot of times that doesn't go down well, because the moment you are going with the mindset of having scores to settle, sometimes you put yourself under unnecessary pressure, and you are prone to mistakes, because you want to prove a point that, look, the first time, yes, you defeated us, but it was due to some mistakes, but this time we've come to revenge for what you did to us. So, and a lot of times in football that doesn't go too well. So for me, Ghana, Uruguay, do you think Ghana should have revenge on their minds, or just go out, enjoy themselves and play the game?
Yeah, you are absolutely correct. But the most important thing is Ghana should just go all out and then play their normal game and just have full concentration on the match, forget what happened in the past, and then just thinking about today and just forget about what happened in the past. But what happened today is what is going to matter.
Exactly.
What happened in the past has belonged to the history. And if you're looking at the last game against Ghana, against Uruguay, it's very key. But the most important thing, let's wait what the next match is between Portugal and
Uruguay. Uruguay. Very important.
Very important.
That result will
very important, because that's the result will definitely going to determine in the last match. But even though Uruguay and Portugal play a draw, or even though Portugal beat Uruguay, Uruguay still have all to play for in the last match.
Exactly.
Because all they need is to come out and beat Ghana. If they beat Ghana, because they draw their first match against Korea, they have 1 point. So if they come out in the last match and beat Ghana, they still have still have what to take to play for everything, and because all they need just to have Ghana, and that will qualify them. Give them 4 points ahead of Ghana, who has 3 points. But and at the same time, if to this match, if it ended, if it happened that Portugal beat Uruguay, that would make it relatively easy for the Ghanaians. All the Ghanaians need to be in the last match just to avoid defeat, or just to avoid defeat. A draw will definitely favor and end up progression in the last play. But if you look at African teams in this particular World Cup, first I must give kudos to the Ghanaian, because if you're looking at the form of the Ghanaian before this World Cup, you definitely don't even give them any chance.
Exactly.
Even the last match, even their first one that they lost to Portugal, they have that game in their hand. If they have concentrated to force Portugal to a goalless draw. But at least to score less or the draw or whatever any result they have, and then they have if they have played have full concentration, they have get a point from the Portugal. And looking at this match again, they came out well, play well. They, just like we said, almost lost control, but it's good that they were able to stood their ground, and then at the end of the day, get the needed 3 points, which they needed badly. And if you look at the whole Africa team in this competition, compared to I think African performance and this World Cup is an improvement compared to the last Russia World Cup. Because if you look at Africa team so far, all the Africa team, to some extent. Morocco yesterday do a very surprise one. Unexpectedly beat Japan.
Belgium.
Beat Belgium. That have given them a very bright chance. Have a 4 point. They are even to the rest. They are even talking the group. Now they are just leader of the Croatia. Have a 4 point in Croatia. That's a fantastic one. I think and at the same Ghana has a chance to also qualify to the next. Senegal the same thing. Senegal also have a very bright chance to qualify. All they need to just beat Ecuador in their last match. They are home dry. But the only Africa team that is position of progress to the next round now is just let's forget about Cameroon. They still have a chance, but it's very, very slim. I don't see Cameroon. Well, it is very difficult to underrate any team in this World Cup based on the result we have so far. So you can't see that Brazil will come to whitewash them. But at the last World Cup, their last World Cup in 2014 in Brazil make a mess of them, and I don't think they will still allow that to repeat again. But their last match against Brazil, that would make it a pretty difficult of their chance of progressing to this one. Tunisia are also almost relatively out, but they still have a slim chance.
All right, still ahead, Brazil will be up against Switzerland, while Uruguay will take on Portugal. That's and other stories we'll give to you when we come back from this break. Don't go nowhere.
This is the story of a trophy for the world. A journey. A dream.
Welcome back from that break. It's still Sports Orbit FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022 coverage. Our next game that will be coming up that we're looking at is Brazil up against Switzerland. Recall that Brazil in that first match against Serbia put on a show, if you might call it, a masterclass to had to dig deep to defeat Serbia 3-1, 3-2-0 as it stands. Brazil. One of favorites will be coming against Switzerland. While looking at this game, Brazil, I mean, if you are going to compare player for player, Switzerland, are no match for the Brazilians. But from some of the things we'll begin to see in this World Cup, some games are becoming very, very difficult to predict, if you ask me.
Of course, no doubt about it. We have seen how big teams have been actually defeated by a lower team. The World Cup is no respecter of big name. It's what you actually showed, on the pitch of play. That is what you are going to actually get to meet off after the end of the game. And every minute of the game, you must not lose your concentration, because if you lose concentration, it means you are going to be, punished for that. But I still feel, looking at, paper, player for player, likes for like, Brazil have the upper hand in this particular game against the Switzerland. But the Switzerland will actually come into this game with that confidence that they actually won their first match against Cameroon. So that will actually boost their confidence coming into this game. And they might just want to just sit behind, get to defend and see if they can able to stun the Brazilians using the counter attack. Format. But we know the qualities of the Brazilians, the likes of Anima. Star-studded team, I must tell you, Alpha, in this particular game. But let's just see how it pans out. But it's going to be difficult for Switzerland. If I were Switzerland, I would just sit back, try to defend, get to see if I can beat Brazil on the counter attack. We know that their back line are very experienced, so you need to make them run so that for you to actually get to penetrate the midfield. If Switzerland with the likes of Granit Xhaka, Shaqiri, they are able to do the magic in the middle of the park. We know they are no fit for the likes of Fred, Firmino, getting to see good players, who play for the English Premiership. But if they are able to hold it down in the middle of the park, I feel they might just come out with a draw in this particular one, Alpha.
Yeah, I mean, Switzerland in their first game against Cameroon, 1-0 it was. Even though a lot of people had hoped that Cameroon were going to put up a good fight against Switzerland, but they won that one 3-1. But I mean, they bounced back to it. Looking at Switzerland, coming up against a Brazilian side. Of course, taking into consideration their result against Serbia, Brazil will be, pumped up. They'll be ready for this one, knowing that a victory today, will make their last match just a mere formality. So they want to throw everything at the Swiss to this evening.
Yeah, just like Wale said earlier, if you're looking at the head-to-head, Brazil, no doubt about the best team in the world. While Switzerland is 15 in the world. So there's a wide gap between the two sides, and player for player, player to player, Brazil have more established players, but even the Switzerland are not even lesser, are not a lesser team. They have some notable players in the middle that they just Saka from Arsenal and several other players who are also doing well at their middle club. And if you're looking at that, the Switzerland, they have a very strong defense, and even their midfield, they have a very strong midfield. And then as much as Brazil have a very youth exuberance attacking forward, and but not going to play this match without Neymar. In as much as we see that Brazil is not just about Neymar, but Neymar is a key player in the Brazil, and they're going to play that match without Neymar. Neymar will just be like an inspirational team players in the team, and playing that much without Neymar will definitely going to affect Brazil to some extent, in as much as they have the perfect replacement for him. And at the same time, if you look at this World Cup, what the result of this World Cup have shown so far, it's like even the bigger teams are even more scared of the minor team than the minor team. Because if you're a bigger team, a high-profile team, then you will now be scared if you are coming against the lower team, because many heavyweights are fall by the water side, the minor team. So, and at the same time, if you're looking at the statistic wise at this current World Cup, Switzerland win their first match against Cameroon, and now Serbia give a Brazilian a tough time. All them for his goalless in his first half before the second goal, when they finally surrender and the Brazil finally show their class and they win the match. And now the same Serbia that hold Brazil, same Serbia that hold Brazil to hold Brazil to some extent before they finally succumb. Now we play a 3-3 draw with Cameroon, win Switzerland beat. So looking at this, Switzerland now they feel more confident as yes, we have all the things. We can also match Brazil ball to ball, and looking at this match, Brazil are desperate to get to the round of 16 ahead of the final match. And who say Lord can also smile on the Switzerland and also get to the round of 16 before the final match. So definitely it's going to be a very tricky ties for the Brazilian. But the Brazilian are always the Brazilian. The Sour Boys are always the Sour Boys. They always come with the final magic.
All right. The other match which will come up later will be Portugal up against Uruguay. Recall that Portugal are the same group as Germany and Korea. And for Portugal also.
Portugal is the same group Ghana.
Yeah, Portugal, Uruguay, Korea, and Ghana.
Yes.
And then that group. Yeah. So, for Portugal, 3-2 victory in that one against Ghana, coming up against a Uruguayan team.
One draw in the first.
Yeah, exactly. One draw, but Uruguay hasn't never been an easy team. For me, I believe, in the World Cup or competitions of this nature, first games are always somehow, apart from being key, you see that some of these big teams in the first games, they don't really turn up. You could see Argentina against Mexico when everybody thought that, okay, Mexico will go. But, Argentina suddenly realized that, look, we are here for business. What happened against Saudi Arabia was a mistake, and we are not ready for any mistake. So some of these teams, you see that they start slowly a bit. Even looking at the game yesterday in Germany, France, at the point it seemed like the Spanish were going to run away with it. But the Germans came back, they left it late. This is another tough tie, if you ask me. Portugal, Uruguay. Uruguay has, star players, absolute fantastic personnel on pitch, same as Portugal. This is going to be interesting. For Portugal, they know that 3 points today will, put them straight into the round of 16. But of course, also a draw for Portugal won't be too much of a bad result, considering the other results in the group.
Both two sides say a draw would be bad for Portugal. A draw would also be bad for Uruguay. So a draw also put their destiny. Everybody still has his own destiny going into the last match. And one thing that why the bigger teams, after losing the first match, why you need that to know that no, you are here for a reason, because you don't have a second chance.
Yeah, exactly.
The first match, yes, you have a second chance, you can make an amendment. If you lose the second match, that automatically you are out. So you don't have a second chance. That's why you see team like Argentina, you see team like Germany, even when they look as if the odds against them, they try to step up their game and to make a statement, know that we are a big team, home champion, and we need to step up again. Uruguay's are not the minor side, a very strong side, former two-time world champions. Portugal has never been world champion. No, they have come close several, but they have never been world champion. Even Portugal, if you look at to some extent, they have players by player to player to match with Uruguay. Although in as much as some of the players in the Portuguese team are aging, the same also goes to the Uruguay team, who also have to play for also on their almost this World Cup look like their final World Cup. For most of some Portugal players and also most of the Uruguay's players. So definitely everybody want to make a statement at this World Cup. For instance, the two players I've seen on the screen, Diego and that will definitely be their last World Cup. And if you're looking at this clash, it's going to be a very titanic one because Portugal need result and the Uruguay also need result. Uruguay have to draw their first one against Korea. Will not want to lie low and to lose their second match against the Portugal. So it will definitely I'm going to see this class definitely end in draw.
You're looking like it. Wale, your take on Uruguay, Portugal?
Of course, this is the second biggest match in the World Cup after the Spain and the Germany match. That was played yesterday. You know that these two sides are well experienced. Looking at the Uruguay team and also the Portuguese teams with the likes of Ronaldo, Pepe, and the likes. Looking at Luis Suarez. And also, looking at Gordon that play for Atletico Madrid, they're a very, very experienced player, and they have been in the World Cup for about, this will be that third time or the fourth time, playing the World Cup. So I feel it's going to be, a class of match to watch. The middle play will be determined in the middle of the park. Any team who gets, to dominate the middle of the park might just get to run away with this, particular 3-point. But I feel both teams will not want to give any chances at this point in time, knowing fully well of the threats that both teams has in their arsenal. I feel both teams will want to draw. It will be a good one, as you guys have said, for both teams if they were able to draw, and they will not rely on their last match to actually get to seal it to the final. But at this point in time, can Ronaldo get to lead, the Portuguese to another 3 points, or will Suarez, getting to show what the stuff he is made of? But we know that it's not the Suarez that we used to see in Liverpool and in Barcelona at this point. Age has come off him, but he's not actually retiring at this point in time. So the honors now fall on the technical, aspect of the team, the bench at this point in time. Who will get to read the game very well? Who will get to to put in that particular brilliance of change when the game is ongoing. Looking at the midfield, also players from Atletico Madrid, for Uruguay, for Portugal. Looking at Joe Felix, looking at Valverde that played for Real Madrid, also a very fantastic player. We saw him hitting the woodwork in that first match. So I expect to see, a match watching encounter. It will actually go down to the wire. You cannot actually get the pendulum can actually swing at any point in time. You cannot get to say that Portugal or Uruguay will win in this particular match, but we'll just see how it pounds out after 90 minutes. Alpha.
Right, that will keep an eye on those matches. It comes up 5 p.m. and 8 p.m. Nigerian time. I would have wanted to ask you guys to predict, but everybody's beginning to get scared of predictions today. But still, Wally, Brazil, Switzerland, where do you think the pendulum will swing tonight?
Of course, it should swing to the, 5 times world champions, Brazil, maybe 3-1. And also looking at the Uruguay match, it might just end a 2-2 draw. Who knows? I feel that match will end in a draw.
Yeah. Talifu?
Yeah, just like I said, I see the Portuguese and the Uruguays look like they are going to end in their score in the draw. And if it happened that if Pepe happened to play, because he's already been lined up to play today, if he play today, become the second oldest player to play at the World Cup after the Rujamil of Cameroon. And he's going to be another fantastic record for him today. And for Brazil, Switzerland, definitely you want to put your money with the Brazil.
All right, that will keep an eye on down tomorrow. Give you a complete review of these matches as they go down. Wale, thank you for joining us once again on today's edition of the program.
Thank you, Alpha, for having me. Very good afternoon to Salifu and everyone in the studio.
All right, Salifu.
Thank you.
Thank you for being in the studio. Until we come your way tomorrow again with another refreshing and exciting package. Do stay safe out there. My name is Alpha Acho, and it's bye for now.
This is the story of a trophy for the world. A journey. A dream.